David Haugh and Brad Biggs here at Soldier Field after the Bears' 33-28 season-ending loss to the Packers in the season finale. Aaron Rodgers, 48-yard touchdown pass to Randall Cobb, 46 seconds left to go in the game. That was the dagger. That was the play where the Bears dialed up a blitz. They thought half the defensive secondary thought they were playing zone. Maybe some people thought they were playing man. A lot of confusion.
Well, and when some people think you're playing one and other people think you're playing another, you're playing no coverage, and that was what Randall Cobb had wide open for the touchdown. A disappointing way to end the season 8-8 and out of the postseason for the 6th time in 7 years.
Chris Conte will be the guy that gets a lot of the blame for this. He had an interception in the first half, but he was the guy locked up on Randall Cobb. There were, again, a lot of confusion after the game. Both cornerbacks said they were in a zone blitz. Mark Trestman insisted that it was man coverage. Isaiah Fry said it was a man behind him. He was the rusher as the nickel guy. Conte looked to plant his feet. Randall Cobb read that, was supposed to run a hook, and decided to take it deeper. Aaron Rodgers eludes the rush. Kuhn, the fullback, makes a nice block on Julius Peppers, buys him that extra bit of time, and the rest was just a connection between Rodgers and Cobb, two guys who weren't even active, didn't even play a week earlier, come back from injuries. You know, the Packers take the division title 8-7-1.
Yeah, disappointing for the Bears because they had two opportunities to win the NFC North. They could have wrapped it up a week ago in Philadelphia when they were clobbered by the Eagles. They fall short here, so disappointing in that fashion. But this team was going nowhere if it was in the playoffs. Worst run defense in the National Football League. But I think a postseason berth would have given them some real positive momentum towards next year, and they don't have that now.
They don't have it.
They've got to think about how they're going to rebuild. They've got 58 players right now on the roster, counting injured reserve, 29 of them coming out of contract.
And instead of, after Mark Trestman's first season, saying, okay, they made the playoffs and you build on that credibility, continuity, now you're asking yourself, what was he thinking against Minnesota? Why did he leave Cutler in the game too long against the Lions? All these things sort of fester, and you don't have something to kind of attach to build that momentum to a second season because of all the uncertainty.
Right, and you can focus a great deal on what was a terrible defense this season, one that was undone by old age. Let's not forget that storyline. It's one we've written about for a couple of years, and it caught up with the Bears, and injuries. That's not to excuse how bad it got on defense, but that's why it headed in that direction.
Let's look at a couple specifics from today. Number one, the narrative with Jay Cutler's got to play well. All the pressure on Jay Cutler. You know what? He played very well, and the Bears still lost.
Well, he played well, but not well enough to win the football game. One of his best games against the Packers. But in the past, it was Jay didn't have the offensive cast around him. Now it's Jay's defense stinks. But Rodgers' defense was pretty bad too.
Right.
He finds a way to make a play at the end of the game. Cutler's the biggest story right now moving forward, though. His contract situation, he seemed to hint or allude to the real possibility that could be secured and wrapped up.
He seemed to know something.
Right soon, yeah.
He seemed to know something, like something was coming fast. The other thing I think that people are going to be talking about was the 15-yard fumble recovery, return for a touchdown. Jared Boykin.
Inexcusable.
The Bears defense saw the ball on the ground. James Anderson ran by it. No other defender reacted. Boykin picks it up and scores. You know what? That's instinctive. That's a habit. That's a habit that this Bears defense didn't have.
Right, and that never would have happened under Lovie Smith. And I think, you know, as much as you've seen those players, a lot of those same players that were on the field, chase and run down every loose ball in mini camps and training camp. You know, you see it all the time. For them to let that ball sit there and for Boykin to pick it up and basically walk into the end zone, no excuse for that.
No excuse for that. No answers for the Bears. This was a tough one for the Bears in the city to swallow. 8-8, they finished the regular season. 33-28 losers today to the Packers. We'll be here all week on Bear Download, ChicagoTribune.com, bringing you the latest in the offseason. Thanks for watching all season. For Brad Biggs, I'm David Haugh, Soldier Field after the Bears' final loss of the year.
Happy New Year.